Rachel and I are back for one last podcast episode, one last one down under, one last one without Brad. This time we come to you from New Zealand.
Auckland.
Yes, and Rachel's really got to see the city.
I really have. We walked to dinner and back, and that's it.
Yeah, it's Monday at like noon New Zealand time, but it's like Sunday afternoon, Sunday at like 4 or something back in Central Time.
Yes, it is.
And
5:35.
So it's NFL Sunday for us on a Monday, and Rachel's had a very NFL Sunday herself.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Laying in bed all day watching football.
Yeah. She watched a little football. We watched a little Chiefs. Then she put on a little NCAA volleyball national championships.
Yep.
You downloaded your first VPN.
Yes,
today.
I don't even know what it stands for.
Volleyball.
Pro Network.
Yep. That's how you get it. That's how you watch volleyball. None of that was actually what I wanted to talk about. So throughout this trip, there's been a few times, we're different sleep schedules. We've got jet lag. I feel like more often than normal, I have stayed slightly more awake than you on this trip.
Yeah.
And I've got to experience some more of your sleep talking. We don't need a camera because I just am awake for it.
Great.
So I've started to take a series of notes this trip about some things Rachel said in her sleep. And then we're going to end with something new. This is perfect. You said it last night. And I've waited to tell Rachel this.
Oh, boy.
Saving it for the podcast because we almost recorded yesterday. And I'm so glad we would have missed out on this. So back when we were in Perth, I believe this is when Rachel woke up in the middle of the night and said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just so apologetic. And I said, sorry about what? And Rachel said, I don't have sleep shorts on right now, so I shouldn't do that. What did that mean?
I don't know. Because I know I was wearing sleep shorts. That's what I sleep in every night.
It was confusing for everybody. A few nights later, you said in your sleep, it does feel like we're on something.
What in the world?
So that was...
It did feel like it, though.
And then a couple nights ago, I think this was our last night in Sydney, you woke up and said, I see.
Yeah, I know what you're up to.
Just funny because I was just awake
and
next
my eyes
to you.
were closed. Yeah. I couldn't see.
I was like, do you want to take a look at it? I see. And then last night was a great one. Rachel wakes up in the middle of the night, which I've been giving you a hard time because a lot of times on this trip, you either wake up from a nap or in the middle of the night. And like, there was one night you had been asleep like an hour and it's midnight. Like I thought you were out for the night and you just wake up instantly and go, I got to take my contacts out.
That will wake me up. It hurts so bad to sleep in contacts.
It was like it was 2 p.m. You were so alert instantly. I'm never like that. If I'm waking up.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 30-minute process.
The nap yesterday took you another nap to wake up.
I was in a different universe. But you always wake up so quickly. And so last night you sat up in bed with no words, which is always the creepiest when you don't make noise. Gosh. So you go from asleep, which I had this thought last night too. If you were a baby, I would have been worried about you because you had your face so buried in your pillow. And I was like, I guess she can breathe. I'm sure she's probably breathing.
I was sitting up, my face was buried in my pillow?
No, sorry. This is before. Like the way you fell asleep, you looked like a baby asphyxiating itself.
Okay.
And then you awakened from that. You rose from that. And you're just kind of sitting up. And you're looking out this window right here.
Gosh.
And I was just kind of waiting for you to say something. And then you went back to sleep. And then I think I'm trying to think. Because at one point in your sleep last night, you also said, is Tyreek Hill playing tomorrow? So you also said that. But
gotta be my dad.
The whole build up you did when you sat up and you got back down, you told me, sorry, the kids have to see me.
What does that mean? What kids?
I don't know whose kids. I don't know
sorry
what you
they
look
have
like.
to see me.
Sorry, the kids have to see me.
Well, we were watching those weird New Zealand movies about kids getting abducted.
You think that was it?
Yes, I knew it was. If I made us change the channel, I knew that was going to affect me.
So if there's any minors watching today and you're having to look at Rachel,
I'm sorry you have to see me.
I'm sorry you have to see her, guys.
I think this tight beat means that it's going down with some random thoughts and white meat too. Midwest best friends eating fast food on repeat. So come along, let's have some fun and go ahead, get on your feet, cause it's the Ghostrunners podcast. Every Monday morning we're taking back Ghostrunners podcast.
Ghostrunners podcast.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. So we're recording this, like I just said. It's Monday afternoon our time, but our episode hasn't come out yet, so we don't know what you thought about it. I don't know what you want more of or what you want less of. My only thought after we recorded last time was there's so much I left out. There's so much we didn't talk about. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to keep a better note system of things we left out last time. So I have about 20 things written down.
Jeepers.
And they're not all funny, but they're just a lot of quick things just to help explain and help tell people about our experience in Australia, in New Zealand, and Hawaii. We're also going to do a s'mores at some point. And yeah, I guess that basically describes it. That sets up the episode.
Good preview.
Rachel, what's on your mind? Anything you want to start with?
I know you have written some of the things that I forgot to say.
All right, so no. One thing we were so bummed that we both forgot to mention it was Shaka Guide.
Oh, yeah. You gotta talk about it.
So, I don't know. Some of this episode is probably going to come across like Jim and Pam when they're back from their honeymoon, or when they're just like Frank and Beans. And you're like, okay, I'm sure that's funny to you guys, but I don't get it. But if you've done the Road to Hana, which it's Maui's like greatest tourist attraction, it's one long, really windy road with a ton of optional stops. They've got waterfalls and beaches and banana bread shops and
the best coffee in the world,
lava tubes and just stuff that you can stop at. But it's very recommended that there's a pretty solid app for it that it knows your GPS and knows where you're at. And this like audio book will basically speak to you based on where you're at and tell you like, up on the right is this parking lot and you can do this here. And it's great. This guy's probably made a lot of money, but he's a total cheese ball.
He's awesome. He's exactly who you want for this.
Yeah, he is good. Because it would be weird if he was more casual. But he is just a dork, and he has just like the perfect, weirdest tour guide voice.
Amazing.
You
can do it pretty well.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks now, but after the day of and after Road to Hana, I was only doing the Shaka Guide voice, because what was so funny about it is he would go from cheesy tour guide, like, then instantly he would put on this like weird, Hawaiian accent, which is an accent I'd never heard when we were there. And sometimes it just sounded Hispanic. So I'm not sure why he would do it, but it would be something like, I'm trying to think, what would some of the stuff he'd say? Like, up on the left is some amazing banana bread. You're going to want to make sure you stop and get some. And hey, save some for me, hermanos. Like, why'd you say hermanos? That seems kind of weird.
He was always doing that little laugh. And hey, save some for me. It was so good. You were talking like that all the time.
On the right, make sure you check out the lava tube. This was formed by molten lava rock over 200 million years ago. When you venture inside, just be thankful you weren't in that tube 200 million years ago. Just stuff like that every few sentences. So that was Shaka Guide.
It was so good.
He would call himself that too. We don't know his name because we wanted to look him up. Like I wanted to DM this guy and say thank you.
Yeah.
But we don't know his name. Just, the Shaka, the pinky and the thumb. That's big in Hawaii. He was the Shaka Guide. But he wouldn't just say Shaka Guide. This has been Road to Hana with Shaka Guide. So that's it. Just needed to explain that.
Oh, he was amazing.
So pretty much, I would say 90% of the time I enter a room and Rachel's in it, I say, "What's up, hermano? You're good to see you today, muchacho." So that's that. Let's see.
We have another Maui story. Me and Kathryn in the massage.
That was in Maui?
Yes, it was.
Wow. Oh, yeah, because you guys were late for the show.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
Not for the show, for the meal at Bethke's.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, go on.
So Kathryn and I
think you want to talk about the Bethke's house too. So go one after another. Go crazy.
Kathryn and I, had sort of a free afternoon in Maui when the boys were recording the podcast episodes. So we wanted to get lunch and get a little foot massage because, that's cheap. It would be quick. And then the Bethke's live like 45 minutes into the mountains, I think. So it was sort of a drive to get there, and we just had a few hours to do all this.
Better pack some water.
Pack some for me. And so we were eating lunch. We were like, okay, let's just get a reservation quick. Maybe they'll have walk-ins at a place for a foot massage for 30 minutes. We had it planned out perfectly. So we called the first place on the Google Maps, and they were too eager to find time for us. Like, are you guys free for walk-ins? Like, yeah, absolutely. No one's here right now. Like, this place can't be that good.
Seems a little desperate.
But we'll go. So we got there like 4 minutes late. And so they were sort of hustling us in there, like, all right, time to sit down. Your time's going to start. So they just like laid us on these beds, which I haven't gotten a massage in my life.
Yeah, foot massage.
I've only done a foot massage, and it was for volleyball preseason.
And you're sitting
And
down.
you're sitting in a chair, like a pedicure, where your feet are in some water. And then they laid us down and put like a towel over our eyes, and
men, women,
two old men, one man each.
I don't think I knew this part of it. I asked because I was like, it's not as creepy as you guys are imagining. Rachel, tell them.
They were nice old men.
And it turned out they're old men. Okay. Race?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Okay. We'll assume Hawaiian.
They look Hawaiian.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, muchacho.
So Kathryn and I are laying side by side, eyes closed, and they start massaging our heads. And
Like, that's not my foot.
yeah, it's like, okay, well, maybe if they can, maybe that's just how they start. Like, we both talked about this afterwards. We had the same thought process.
Well, you don't start on the foot.
You don't start there.
It would be ticklish. You have to warm the body up. You have to activate the muscles around it. You got to get a running start to the foot.
And so then they moved on to like the neck, and they would really dig into like some spots. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe you can tell like a pressure point on the foot. If this part of your shoulder is sore, then you should massage this part of the foot.
You're rationalizing everything. Like, no, this isn't weird.
This is fine.
This is a science here.
But okay, and my guy breathed really loud.
Okay.
So I could hear I feel where he was also, but I couldn't hear Kathryn's guy.
Okay.
So every now and then I would just like sort of look through the gap in the towel.
Is her neck getting touched?
And I could see that it was, but my guy was always ahead. And so then I was like, and I was the one who had to call and make this appointment. So I was like, oh my gosh, the first time I made a decision, I didn't even get Kathryn and I the right massage. I bet she's mad right now. I bet she's not happy with this, which Kathryn's never like that. So I was thinking that. So I was stressing about that.
Yeah.
And so then quite a bit of time had gone by, and like they were onto the legs at this point.
And do you ever say anything to Kathryn like, Kathryn, sorry about this?
No.
Okay.
Nope, it's quiet in there. And they had like nice spa music playing, and then a couple times it would cut out, and they'd have to stop the massage and start the track again.
Oh, it just like
it's like a CD.
You're just like, well, that's the end of it.
Yeah, so I'm stressing about this. Like, this is not what Kathryn wanted. And then a little bit of time had passed, and I was like, they should probably be getting to the feet by now if this is a 30-minute massage. And then they went out of the room, both of them. I could quickly grab my phone and look at the time, and we were 40 minutes in to the 30-minute massage, and they were just moving to the feet.
All right.
So, and Kathryn didn't move 1 inch during that. I didn't see. So I didn't want to like wake her up. I was like, maybe she's asleep. And so I knew we were going to be late at this point because we were already running 10 minutes late and we had 20 more minutes to go. So then I was stressed during this massage. You're supposed to be relaxed.
You're like, maybe it's a 45-minute massage.
Yeah.
And the last 5 minutes are just feet.
And that's fine. That'll be fine. Our feet won't get touched, but it'll be okay. And I'll just have to apologize to Kathryn. But then our feet got going.
Yeah.
And then we were going for a long time. And I was thinking, this is an hour massage. And I don't know the price of the hour full body massage. So then I was like, are we just about to buy like a $300 massage that we were planning on a $30 foot massage? So then I was stressing about that, and then stressing about, now I'm making Kathryn do that too.
Yeah.
It was the most stressful massage I've ever gotten. Felt great, but
not peaceful.
And I talked to Kathryn afterwards, and she had the exact same thought process. And then we were 30 minutes late to the dinner. So then we were stressed about that. So, it wasn't the most relaxing massage, but it was a great memory.
How much did it end up costing?
I think $60.
Okay.
For an hour full body massage.
Yeah, that's really not bad.
Yeah. So we ended up being very happy with that.
Good deal.
But still double what we wanted to pay.
And then you got to Bethy's house and you fell in love.
Oh man, it was amazing. It was the most beautiful house I've ever seen. I love how they decorated it. Their laundry room was beautiful with a really pretty wallpaper, and it was huge. There was a ton of space to fold clothes, which I really wish you would have seen. Great outdoor living area. Their little shop on site was there. They let Kathryn and I pick out some clothes.
Yeah.
New Flora is what it is. When I wear it, I'll post it on my story. Tag them.
Okay.
It's real cute. Really, I think it's good modest fashion.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very nice. Yeah, it was great. They're great hosts. I think they were made to host. Like that's the perfect family for that house. They just have people over. They serve others. They're entertaining. It was wonderful.
It was amazing. I forgot to say at the beginning, this episode, of course, brought to you by Good Ranchers.
Of course.
So goodranchers.com. Anyway, yeah, Bethke's place was great.
Yep.
The massage was great.
Yep.
Hawaii was great. Hawaii was over 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is such a long time.
Yeah.
You ready to be back?
Yeah. Ever since we got the text from Morgan and Scott Caldwell this morning.
Yeah, we got a text like an hour ago from our friends.
They dropped off cookies, or they were going to drop off cookies for us, little Christmas cookies, and they forgot that we were gone. And so they're just eating the cookies, which I'm glad that they are. But it made me miss all of our friends at home.
Yeah.
I wish I would have opened the door to Morgan, Scott, and Collins. That would have made my day.
Yeah, they're trying to visit. Harrison and Abby are having babies without us.
Having multiple babies.
Baby without us. But we got to text them today too. So
yeah, staying in touch. Oh, Brad's story of Hattie live, I guess. Hattie answering questions.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I forgot who asked. I don't know who asked the question, but Hattie and I now have a Prince of Egypt watch party date organized. So thank you for that.
Yep.
We're excited. I want to give an update on Human versus Hamster. Keep forgetting to do this. I've talked about it 1 or 2 episodes, I think. Ghostrunners, it was this reality game show that hit up Friday Pickleball. This is executive produced by Chip and Joanna Gaines, like Magnolia Network. It's going to be on HBO Max. They hit up me, Scott, and Isaac about doing this, and we didn't know if it was real. We had a phone call when, like a couple months back. They loved us, and then we had to do an interview, like a Zoom interview with the casting producer, and he would just ask us questions. It lasted like an hour and 15 minutes. I did it in our Hawaiian hotel room because I was like, let's get this out of the way now. I know I'm on vacation, but it's gonna be way easier on Hawaiian time than it will be Australian time. And we've got 2 main updates. One, the interview went amazing. I feel like we had a blast. We were ourselves. We were funny. The guy afterwards, he's like, all right, we're done. I turned off the recording. Guys, that was awesome. I can honestly say that was the most fun I've ever had doing an interview for anything we've done. So maybe he tells that to everybody. Honestly, who knows? But it seemed like we're in. And it seems like a lot of good things, Human vs. Hamster. So I'll keep you guys posted when we hear back from them. The bad news is that they came back about a week ago and said, hey, producers have changed their minds. It was going to be a 3-person event. It is now a 2-man event. So one of you is going to have to be the alternate. So tough decisions were made. Scott, knowing that the shooting of this is going to be right around when their baby is due. Surprise if you didn't know that.
You are the king of this.
I am not the king of this.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I said that. That's the first time you've ever done that.
Yeah, I am not the king of this. But oh well, it's not Scott's podcast. It's our podcast. So yeah, he was like, you know what? It was going to be tough with the baby being due anyway. So you guys do it. So those are the Human vs. Hamster updates. More to come in the future. One thing we've not talked about, even off the podcast, do you feel like in Australia there was a decent frequency of one-armed people?
I've never noticed.
Really? I think I saw 4 different one-armed people in Australia, like amongst the different cities. But I know we were there like 2 weeks, but was hoping we could talk about that. But you didn't notice it. Okay,
maybe shark attacks.
Ooh, sharks, crocs,
croc attacks.
Croc attacks. Yeah, it was probably a vicious attack. That's it.
All right, good segment.
I was hoping you would notice. Makes sense why we hadn't talked about it. You hadn't seen it.
I had not seen it. I really have not seen it once. Sorry. I try to be relatable.
It's okay. I'll just keep going. I got to give props to Rachel. She made an observation the other day, and I was like, that's pretty good. And then I took it and surprised Rachel and made a bit about it on stage.
Yes, you did.
Do you want to elaborate on it?
Oh, sure. I thought you were going to keep going because it's your story. The observation that I made after we went to the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary in our favorite city, Brisbane, was that zoos are very, like, not even well kept, because I know there are some dirty zoos, but like Animals are in cages. You don't really see animals fighting. They're sleeping quite often. They're getting fed regularly.
You don't really see them do anything.
You don't.
Sometimes you don't
hope
even,
to see action.
Yeah, sometimes you don't see them.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the, like there were so many times like, this is the Tasmanian devil exhibit. Like, oh, cool.
Didn't see one.
Never saw it though. This is the wombat. Oh, I can't even picture what a wombat is. Well, I still can't.
Still can't.
Never saw it. Where does it sleep? I looked up high. Do wombats climb?
Is it camouflage?
Yeah, I'm looking all over. I'm like, could it be on me? How small are they?
Yeah, a lot of that happened. And then I remembered experiences at other zoos, and they're all like that. And so then I was like, why do like some people describe like, my classroom was a zoo today, or like, a family with small kids, like, it is just a zoo in here. I'm so sorry. I was like, it must be a nice place. People must be sleeping. Yeah. People are getting fed regularly.
Yeah, wow.
There's no action.
That's all. Your house is a zoo? Okay.
Oh.
We'll come to your place then.
Yeah, sounds good.
Everybody's already asleep. That's great. So, I think the second you said it, I was like, you should put that in your stand-up routine. Then a couple hours went by. I was like, I should put that in my stand-up routine. So, did that in the Brisbane tent, which is fun.
Yeah.
Rachel's been my videographer. I've been doing, like I said last episode, a lot of Australian material. So Rachel's been my videographer and has been stressed about it.
I've been stressed. I've never noticed my hands being shaky, and they are when I'm holding that camera.
But you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
And
always accepting feedback, begging for feedback.
Yeah, you're like Timon. Hey, here's the edit. Be brutal. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
It's like, be brutal. It's like a thumbnail, dude. It's fine. Just humiliate me with what you think about this. That's been fun. Another note I wrote down is Australia. Fun fact. I came here in 2019. I don't remember anyone ever telling me this. You guys, you've heard of like the hole in the ozone layer. Apparently that hole is above Australia. So the UV rays are much more intense here. And so you got to look out. So good news, bad news. Bad news is 1 in 3 people get skin cancer in Australia.
Yeah.
Crazy. The sun is so intense here. Good news, sunscreen, super cheap.
Yeah. You got a big bottle yesterday for very cheap.
Did I really?
Yeah, you said that blue bottle at the airport 2 days ago, maybe.
Oh, yeah, at the wharf.
Yeah, at the wharf.
Yeah. So there's Australian fun fact, hole in the ozone layer. I guess it is a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's above Australia.
Yeah. The UV index, like on the weather app, that it can tell you what that is. It was like 12 and above every day.
Yeah.
Even if it was a little bit cloudy.
Look out.
Ozone.
We've been reading books.
Do you
want to talk about your book? I'll talk about my book.
Yeah, my book was so good. It was, I had it out. It is Man's Search for Meaning, I think by Viktor Frankl. And he was a Jewish physician who survived Auschwitz and created his own type of therapy called logotherapy. And the book was
What's it called?
Logotherapy. Logo therapy. The book was just about his time in the camps and telling how he survived and his outlook. He has a really positive outlook on everything, and it was very, very good. If you do read it, though, the best part of the book was it's split into thirds, not equal thirds. So the first part is all about his time in the camp, and I think that was the main part. Otherwise, after that, it talks about his therapy, his type of therapy. So that one got sort of boring. But the first part was so good. Everybody should read it. It was great.
Viktor Frankl.
Yep.
Cool name.
Yeah, I know. Viktor.
That's the best way to spell Victor. Victor. Yeah. What is logotherapy?
It's a lot of, there's optimism in it, I know, and finding meaning in struggling. It's hard to explain without using an actual definition because the terms are so long and complex. But that's sort of what I got about it.
Cool.
Not finding one meaning, finding meaning in everything. I think it's sort of future oriented. Like
meaning in the bad or meaning in the future?
Yeah, or in anything, and right now, and yep.
Good for Frankl.
Yep.
I've been reading a book called Diary of a CEO, and it's like a business book, but it's not specific principles on scale your business and do this. It's psychology in business. So they're things that will stand the test of time, and I love it. I'm only maybe 40% of the way done, but every chapter I close it. I'm like, all right, Rachel, I gotta I gotta like dialogue with you about this. It's so interesting. It's so fascinating. And then Rachel will listen, and she's really nice, and she says, that does make sense. That is good.
It is good.
That is nice. I have like so many notes about it. One little nugget. Let's see. I actually didn't write this down, but I remember it off of my brain. Useless absurdity is more important than useful practicality. Like if you're going to tell someone about a gym they should join, if this gymnasium has like a giant blue slide running through it that goes into a ball pit, obviously you don't need that in your gym where people work out. But there's something about that, like if I'm like, you got to join my gym. Like you're not going to start off with like how nice it is and how nice the weights are and how much room there is, how nice the locker rooms is. You start with, there's this huge blue slide that goes into a ball pit. And the point being, I mean, there's a lot of examples of this, like Tesla cars. You don't start with, all electric or the user interface. You start with like, has a fart, like a, simulator in it. Like that's hilarious. Like you can do this fart stuff. And so basically like finding what is that absurdity in your business that people will want to talk about, because the useful practicalities are not as important as the useless absurdities. People want to talk about the absurd, Rachel. They
do. They love absurdities. And you do. I think you really like that principle. You like being absurd and a little bit different.
Well, yeah, it's just like I never thought about it. I never had someone explain it that way. Be like, you're right. You always start off with the weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what this podcast is. Talk about your absurdities in life.
Maybe that's why I like it. Yeah, my whole everything about, yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about the one-armed people. We had a good talk about that. We talked about the books. Let's talk about just some different aspects of actually being, like not only in Australia, but being on more or less vacation for almost 4 weeks straight. I feel like it just started to dawn on us. One, just the lack of rhythm, and just like nothing feels like a weekday or a weekend. It's all just some sort of hybrid where it's like, yeah, maybe we should relax a little bit, but also I need to edit and I've got 15 emails and I got to do this, but it's like, oh, I guess it is Saturday. Well, then it's Friday back home though. Okay, so it is a work day. It's just like it's constantly a hybrid of weekend and weekday.
It's constantly a work day.
Yeah, it's never not.
Yeah.
Well, it could be
Sunday here.
Sunday here, Saturday there. But it's a Sabbath for somebody. And it's been really interesting trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it has been. We were just talking about that yesterday. We were like, we kind of need a schedule.
Yeah.
Which is so anti-us to say.
Yeah.
We kind of need a routine.
I'll talk about anti-schedule. Well, one other thing hold on. Let's bookmark in that.
Anti-schedule.
Waking up in Australia is a rush because all your friends back home have been awake for 6 or 7 hours. So when you wake up, your phone is buzzing. And it's a little stressful, but it's also very fun. Mm-hmm. You wake up and all these people have wanted to talk to you for 7 hours. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like, I want to wake up and relax. It's also like, man, these people have been waiting on me.
You got to catch up to where they're at.
I got to get up to their speed. And I only have 3 hours to do it because it's already 2 p.m. there.
Mm-hmm. Stressful.
Our lives are so hard, guys.
We're so stressed.
Really what I'm trying to do is just like take anything about this experience and try to just like tell people about it. Because it's like, I don't know, not a lot of people get to do a 3.5 week work trip like this. So.
Yeah, business trip.
I'm here for business. Yeah, just business stuff. What I was going to say, making a schedule is very anti-view. Something else that's very anti-view is how into the business of paddle.
Oh, I am a businesswoman.
And every now and then I pronounce it paddle, but I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think that might be racist of me.
Melbourne. It's your Melbourne.
Melbourne. Basically, we talked on Monday, this sport that is so fun. It's so addicting. It's awesome. Paddle. And there's no courts in the United States. I mean, there's some. There's like one in Atlanta, a few in Florida, and that's basically it. So it's this sport that is incredibly fun. That feels just as addicting as pickleball and almost as like easy to play and as easy to pick up as pickleball. And there is absolutely no like presence in the United States. It just feels like a crazy opportunity, like at our fingertips. And of course, I'm like thinking about all these things, chopping at the bit about it. But I've been very surprised that Rachel's been right there with me. I'm so invested.
Yeah, I've got the exact people that I think should invest in it.
Oh, 30 minutes. Rachel.
I know the manager of the future.
Well, just like say a name, just like a random name of one of our like friends or acquaintances. I'm like, what was it? And she's like, maybe he would invest. I'm like, oh, you're talking about paddle? So Rachel's
stuck on it.
So into it. We're gonna make a PowerPoint
We're going to make a PowerPoint.
On our 14-hour flight tomorrow.
Yep.
We're finally going home, and we're going to make a PowerPoint to pitch to future investors.
Yep.
And we're not really sure how we get cut into the business because we don't have the money or the time to do it. Mm-hmm. But hopefully it's just like, well, I told you about it. So can I get like 5%?
Just something.
And we really want to play. So can you please build it?
At least it's a free membership.
Can you build it in Kansas City? Mm-hmm. So if anyone's listening, you're free to take paddle and make your own courts. Either do it in Kansas City and let us in on it, or do it somewhere else and let us do this on our own.
Yep.
So yeah, it really is like, it's not even a bold prediction. Someone is going to make a ton of money off of paddle in the United States in the next 5 to 10 years. It might as well be us because it's this awesome, fun sport.
It's so fun.
So
it's so fun. I like it a billion times more than pickleball.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's what I said. I was like, I think I might have slightly more fun playing that than pickleball.
It's so fun.
It's such a blast. And like, once people play it, there is just this sense of like, I have to play it again. I have to get better. I have to do this again. And you get people to play that. And then the demand goes crazy high, and the supply in the entire Midwest, in the entire Central Time Zone, the only supply you have is our 8 courts in Kansas City. I mean, we'll just be raking it in.
Yep. I'm sorry. I was sort of paused. I was trying to think of a name for the courts, and I didn't think of anything good. Triplet paddle courts. No.
Yeah, let's talk names. I think we got to go like Paddle USA or something.
Sure.
Like this is the start of like a nationwide brand.
Sure. Get the Instagram handle right now.
Rachel is big, and I thought it was a joke at first, but she's big on like, hey, will you go ahead and get
something.
Friday Paddle? Like get FridayPaddle.com, get the Instagram Friday Paddle, like just in case. Mm-hmm. Talk to the guys at Friday Pickleball, and just like maybe they want it.
Maybe they know it. Maybe they're good at it.
But yeah, Paddle USA, Patriot Paddle. Mm-hmm. For like kind of a right-leaning
Chiefs paddle.
Chiefs paddle.
Hey, Patrick could invest.
Patrick Paddle.
Patrick Paddle.
If anyone knows Patrick Mahomes, he's having a little better Sunday than he had last week.
He would love this game.
If I know Patrick like I think I do, you can't drop the ball in this game. So I think he would love that. No one can let him down.
No
one can line up offsides in this game.
No.
Not really.
Football on the serve.
Oh, it's a blast.
It's so fun.
If you're anywhere, you got to play it.
If you're anywhere,
wait, that has
you got to play it.
Let me put it this way. If you're listening to this and you're anywhere, you got to play it. Please play it. Hey, Main Street Roasters Coffee.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up, y'all? They're once again sponsoring this episode, which is a little wild. Just, I'm sure you guys listening are like, surely they're not still doing this.
Really?
They're still doing this. They're still sponsoring us. They're so great. And if you could feel the generosity from them to us and from us to you, pay them back. Pay them back with a little purchase. Pay them back with a little Instagram follow at Main Street Roasters, Facebook, book. You guys know the website.
Facebook.
Main Street Roasters. MainStreetRoasters.com, GRKC, 10% off. Go get some coffee, get some coffee beans. Get some mugs. They have their own merch. Go visit them in person. You could private label your own bags of beans. The old bag of beans. Hilarious joke. If you're on the road to Hana, you get someone a bag of beans and you say, you might want to stop and get these, you old bag of beans. So there's some options. MainStreetRoasters.com, GRKC. Check them out. Thanks.
I can't wait to have some when we get back.
Yeah?
I have not been on a coffee kick while we've been here.
We haven't been on really any kicks. It's just every day.
Kicks.
Oh yeah, I did. I ran today. I ran to go get acai. It's tough. I feel like I'm like a 6-year-old boy in a elementary school with no recess.
Yes,
that's just like I gotta get some energy out because we're not like the last. I mean, last time we played paddle was like 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah, it was a 3-hour session in 100-degree weather, but yeah, it was 3 or 4 days ago.
I did burn 2,300 calories.
Oh, your watch.
Yep, I was getting to that.
Sorry.
Yeah. One of the last things I did is I check, wow, I burned 2,300 calories on the Uber ride home. And I'm going, man, my watch or my wrist is gross and sweaty. Take it off, sit it down next to me. Maybe you've heard a similar story before. You sit something down next to you in an Uber, and then they rush you out of it. And then you get out of there, and you're out of your rhythm, and you're out of your routine, and you're out of your programs and your patterns. And you hop out of that Uber, and you're like, man, I can't wait to shower. I'm exhausted. And then you get in the elevator, and instantly you realize, oh, I left my stupid Apple Watch in the Uber, and it wasn't even my Uber, so now I got to get Alan involved in this, and the people pleaser in me hates this. And the Uber driver no speak English very well and had a real tough time communicating. He said he would call us back in 20 minutes. I don't know why he couldn't talk then, but he said call back in 20 minutes. And so what he did was he got about 20 minutes away, and then he called back and said, oh, I'm so far away. And I was like, well, you weren't when we called you. Right? And he said that I'm actually done working for the day too, so I can't come back into the city.
It was 3 p.m.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it was like, I don't know.
And sun was still out.
Yep.
He's done working for the day. Okay, no worries. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow's my off day. You know,
Saturday.
Yeah. What?
And scheduled
How
job.
Uber works. Yeah, I mean, they tell you when to work, when you don't work. But hey, respect him. That's his Sabbath, maybe. He doesn't want to work on Saturdays. That's great. And he said, $75. I bring it to you now. We said, how about you just return my property right now? And he said, no. And so then he said, I can return it to a police station. And we said, great. Which one and where? And then it is gibberish. Didn't make any sense. We never got an address. We never got a time and never heard from him again. So I tried to be optimistic the next couple days. I was like, well, Sunday, he's going to work again on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Tried calling him. He never answered. Every time I tried to be optimistic, tour manager Tom was like, that thing's on eBay, brother. It's like, that thing, he does not have that thing. The police don't have that thing.
Tom actually bought it off of eBay.
Yeah. Tom's like, did it have a little scratch on the left side? Have some paint marks on it? So anyway, that same day, I lost an Apple Watch and my hair pomade. Rough day for me and you.
Hey, Christmas is coming up.
Christmas coming up. Don't buy me an Apple Watch. Don't buy me an Apple Watch for Christmas. So I'm watchless. So I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity to see, like, do I need it? Do I need the watch?
Oh, you do for the runs. I just thought about that.
I do. Oh, to like track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can share.
So I was surprised at how much I find myself wanting to check it still. I'm really curious about the time.
Yeah.
And I have the weather up on my home screen.
That is so nice.
When you're traveling, I'm checking the weather all the time. I learned about myself.
Yes.
Always checking the weather.
You are the weatherman.
I'll tell you what else I'm learning is I am the Google man.
Yes.
I am just Googling stuff constantly when you're in another country, when you're in another time zone.
Which is also why sometimes when I have a question, I ask you to Google it. Because you're so fast and good at it.
Rachel has developed a knack for asking me very Googleable questions, and I'm happy to look it up.
And you do, and it works.
You know, my internet is it's different. It's like a whole new thing.
You type it in better, which we have learned you do type things in better.
The one Google search I've seen you do, I was a little interested in some
You
of
use the term verse.
What were we Googling?
Time.
Let's talk about this whole conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, last episode, I was telling you about how stupid I was and trying to figure out the time to Australia. But now it's like, well, we got this figured out. No, we do not.
No, we don't. That's it. It took me the whole day yesterday here to figure out how, when we were in Sydney, you subtract 5 hours to see where Kansas City is. When we're in New Zealand, you add 5 hours.
That one did throw you off a little bit.
And what got me, I think, was that if you add it normally, I forgot that you go to 12 and you start back over at 1. So then I was just like adding too many numbers that aren't on the clock, if that makes sense.
Well,
I wasn't going in 12s. In my mind, this makes sense.
Okay.
And now I figured it out. But that was very confusing to me.
Yeah. We were a little lost there for a little bit. But we started to... So I went to text Josh and Maggie Mayer because we have like a 6-hour layover in Dallas tomorrow. I'll put in quotes. I don't know if it is tomorrow. I know we start flying
Might
tomorrow.
be yesterday when this one comes out.
Yeah, I don't know when anything is happening. But I go to text and I was like, let's make sure we know when the layover is. And so I don't think this is all our fault because in my Google Calendar here in New Zealand right now, it says that I have a flight from Dallas to Kansas City on Thursday. And so I was like, great. Well, that makes sense. It's a day ahead here. Obviously, it's Wednesday. When you go into the daily view of Thursday, when you click on the flight, then it says Wednesday. So it's like, oh, okay. Now it's doing it local time. Mm-hmm. Okay, I can conceptualize all this. But then we're in the New Zealand airport. We're going through customs, trying to figure stuff out. We've heard that they might need your outgoing flight from New Zealand. I'm on the American Airlines app and looking at my boarding pass, and it says DFW to MCI Tuesday. like, now we got 3 days. It can't be 3 days.
Yep, no one's 48 hours ahead.
Yeah, I'm okay with there being 2 days. I'm like, oh, that's just New Zealand. But once you toss in a third day, something's up. And then for the next hour, we were done for. We didn't talk to anybody. We didn't talk to each other. It was just Google and confusion.
Yep. And that's where the term verse came in.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because we were like, well, let's just actually calculate it out according to New Zealand time.
We were doing all sorts of stuff. I'm like, I've tried Googling it. It's not really working. Why don't you try Googling it?
And it worked. It did.
So what'd you Google? What was your start?
So we calculated it out exactly hour by hour. We're like, okay, it's going to take 21 hours or something. Mm-hmm. So it's like, let's just count 21 hours from the time we leave in New Zealand and then see what that time, the 21st hour would be in Kansas City.
New Zealand. Oh, see,
because we did it all New Zealand time.
Yeah.
So like, then let's just see what it will be Kansas City because that's where we'll be at.
Yep.
So then we figured it out. It was like 2:30 a.m. or something. And so I typed in 2:30 a.m. New Zealand time VS
versus
Chicago Central time.
Central. And I was like, they're not fighting. There's not a winner and a loser.
And I got the answer.
And then Rachel was like, I think I type versus a lot in Google.
I do.
It's just a funny thought.
Instead of compared to, it's verse.
On one side, you've got New Zealand, and they're mad. And on the other side, you've got Chicago. And they're mad.
Who's going to win?
Who's it going to be, muchacho? So, yeah, the verses was really funny. Made me giggle. Yeah, that was a funny afternoon yesterday. I mean, we really didn't know. And I was like, dang, I just spent so much time double checking and confirming with Brad and Timon. Hey, the 21st, Brad's like, hey, Kathryn wants to leave for Texas. When's the earliest we can do this? I was like, lock it in, baby. Thursday, 9 a.m. We're doing it. Timon's it. I'll see you there. 24 hours later, I was like, hey, so we're going to have to change that. I think I'm 85% sure we fly on Tuesday now. But until we're there, I won't know.
Yeah. Right now, we think that we've got an extra day that we didn't know about.
We didn't think we thought it was just one night in Kansas City and then off to Stratford. I think we might spend 2 nights there.
Yeah, we think we're living the 19th.
3 times.
2 times. 2, Jake. I know.
So once again, guys, just our lives are so hard.
So stressful.
It's so hard right now. What else? You want to talk about our last day in Melbourne? We did a bunch of fun things. This is the day we podcasted, I think. We didn't even talk about this stuff. We did the sky deck. We did cricket. New favorite sport.
Yeah, we did do cricket. Yeah. I mean, I love baseball. And it was less action than that.
I put on my story that we went to this cricket game and put like, it's like baseball, but slower. And so many people were like, baseball's already slow. I was like,
Yes, it is.
Yes. You follow me for a while. It's all comedy. You know it's comedy. And they're like, baseball's so slow. What do you mean? Cricket is even slower than that. I'm like, yes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it was slow.
Yeah, it was. And we felt like, we'd all done our own homework. It was funny. Like Alan on his Uber ride there had watched a video. Trey had like read a Wikipedia article. I was watching stuff and trying to figure out the cricket rules. So we all kind of came in with a different baseline of rules. And even not knowing a whole lot, we knew enough to be like, I don't think our team's that good. After the game, Alan finds an article. The headline says, Melbourne Stars scored the 3rd lowest runs in BBL history, which BBL history is kind of funny. It's not Brazilian butt lift. It's the, was it Bash? Dang it. Bash League.
I don't remember.
Big Bash League.
Big Bash League.
Something funny. Something like it's like on Mario. So yeah, they had one of the worst performances of all time in a game that's known for being slow. And Rachel was there all 3 hours.
I was.
We had a little Coke Zero.
Yes, we did. We're a Coke Zero family.
Yeah, we did. They love keeping the Coke Zero flowing down here. And something's up with it. It tastes too good to be zero sugar down here.
I don't even like pop. I love Coke Zero.
It's good down here. You guys might have seen on my story at halftime, whatever they call it. They just brought out this DJ and pyrotechnics and they shot off fireworks. And that was awesome.
I was in the bathroom for that.
Rachel did miss by far the most exciting part, but yeah, I mean, it's a 100,000 seater stadium. Only about 10,000 people were there, and it was just awesome seeing the fireworks go off. I was like, they don't do this at Arrowhead Stadium for the Chiefs. We don't get any kind of, it's like normally some boys choir singing. This is awesome. They were shooting off fireworks right where they were playing soon.
It was fun though. They were bright green and navy or something. Their colors were pretty fun.
Fun colors.
Thought that was a good detail to share.
Who'd they play against?
The Perth. What did we think they were?
Smashers, Crushers.
Yeah, they were orange.
Fire.
They looked good. They won.
We earlier that day we went to the Sky Deck, which Melbourne has probably been our least favorite city here. So we were just kind of struggling trying to find like things to do there.
It just felt like a big city. Like it was sort of like annoying walking on sidewalks because there were so many people there. And we were like really conscious of like, okay, let's walk on the left side because that's how they drive. That's probably how the sidewalks are. Nobody does that.
Anarchy.
It's just crazy.
And it seems like in America, bird scooters, any kind of scooter is like, you're told like you will get beeped at, you'll get in trouble if you ride on the sidewalk.
Yep.
But in Australia, it's not the case. The birds are taking up the sidewalks.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's bikers on the sidewalk. So it is pretty dangerous.
It's wild.
Yeah. And we were just middle of downtown, Chinatown. It was hard to find things to do. We almost went to a science museum.
I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah. I was going to probably
It was
geek
definitely
out.
for kids.
It was for kids. So I was like, I would love to do this.
So fun.
Brad and Kathryn, if you're listening, I will take Hattie to a science museum any day.
Yep.
I guess Rachel's coming.
I'll take Bo and Rosie.
But I found this thing called the Melbourne Sky Deck.
Oh, it was a blast.
Did you have a blast?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Did you?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I didn't know how
Good.
much fun you were having. I feel like you don't love heights as much as I love heights.
Did I have a sad face once?
No. I just this was like something I picked out.
That's
I was
true,
like,
that's true.
I think she might just be doing this because I made a decision. She's
Yep.
like, oh, better than nothing.
That's fair. No, it was very fun. You start out down low on the main floor and you sit in these little pods.
I forgot about the pods.
I put this on my story
Yeah.
or on my post. Celia had a great comment about it. And you put like VR goggles on and the pods will like twist. And what you're seeing in the goggles are just like, it's like a tour of Melbourne. So at one point you're going on a roller coaster and like you really go like down the hill and the chair will like tip. So your body's just slightly going down. But since you have every sense like going, you really do feel like you're going down a roller coaster. So then the next hill I closed my eyes, couldn't feel the drop. First hill I did, second hill I didn't. So it's all mental. But yeah, and then they take you up in the VR goggles. Like maybe you'll be like by the ocean or then you're downtown. Like they just give you a tour.
Every now and then they would leak smell in there.
Yeah, like when you're walking through the rose
4D.
garden, you could smell the rose. It was very nice.
Speaking of all mental, we go up to the top. I think we took an elevator to the 68th floor.
I think it was 88.
Oh, 88. Yeah, I think
it
you're
was
right.
high.
Very, very high up. I remember them saying the world's largest observation deck in the Southern Hemisphere.
Woo.
Oh, rub that in my face, why don't you? Very high up. You can see the whole city. A lot of fun things to do. But we bought the VR plank.
Yes, we
Big
did.
VR day for us. And yeah, they give you this little plank to walk on. Like it's a physical piece of wood for your feet to feel and walk
it
on.
does wobble.
But you do have goggles and it's like you're walking a plank on top of the observation deck. And it's spooky.
It was so scary.
I mean, obviously you can probably just like look up or something. There's probably ways to hack it, but like we paid $20 to do this. Let's look down and feel the sensation.
Yeah.
And it does work. You look down and it feels very real.
It was so scary. I was sweating so much.
Yeah.
And you take the tiniest steps and the plank does wobble. So once again, you feel like you're actually up there.
And you've got these headphones in, they're so loud and it's blowing wind. And it does feel like I'm getting blown away
like
a little bit.
bird will fly by.
Oh yeah. It's like
It
a
was
flute.
so realistic.
So that was a cool idea.
And Jake got all the way to the end of the plank, and then you hold on to this bar, and like you're ziplining down from the building. And Jake actually held on to the bar, and you were swinging from it.
I was hanging from it. I wasn't swinging left and right.
Swing.
But I got a lot of replies to my story. There's like, of course you should hang from the zip line.
I agree too.
Yeah, like it's a metal zip line.
But he got in trouble for it.
Immediately. And apparently the headphones were like really loud in my ears, so I didn't know how loud I was talking. She gets mad. Sir, don't hang. Don't hang? Sorry. I was trying to get the full experience. Sorry, I won't hang.
Louder.
I guess I was just screaming.
That's awesome. Which you're always very conscious about that in public. So it was like, this is a Jake I don't know.
Yeah, I was in a different world. So yeah, did the VR plank.
Yeah, that was fun.
So making the most of it, just doing best friend stuff.
Did you best friend stuff?
Here's an ad that you can maybe have some things to talk about, Rachel. Cozy Earth is sponsoring us again. They re-upped.
Cozy Earth. I can't wait to get home.
Yeah, they've been my what should I say? My flying gear. The long flight here, long flight to Perth, flight back tomorrow. I've purposely saved my Cozy Earth t-shirt to fly tomorrow. And that's a promise. Okay, I will be in it. You'll see me in it. Okay. Their stuff is good. It's so good. Whatever they're doing with viscose from bamboo, I don't know how it works. I don't know who's in charge of it, but thank you, Mr. Viscose.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cozy Earth. Mother Earth, so probably. But yeah, their stuff is so good. We love their sheets. It's been featured on Oprah's Favorite Things.
Woo.
5 years in a row. And all products come with a 10-year warranty. So we've said it before, you get 35% off with Cozy Earth, which is a crazy little discount. GRKC, they've got bath towels, hand towels, shirts, joggers, hoodies. The clothing stuff is really next level. The sheets especially are great. We got a second set now, so if you come visit us, you can Cozy Earth it up.
Cozy Earth. It's great. I can't wait to sleep in that again. I've been waking up so much during the night.
Ooh.
Never do with my Cozy Earth.
That could be it. That could be the difference. So check them out, CozyEarth.com. We love those guys and gals.
Love them.
They're real great. Man, we've been going a while and still have so much to talk about, I feel like.
What else do we have?
We'll keep going fast.
Give me a quick list.
I wrote down some of your hypothetical questions that you've asked me.
geez.
Well, I'll just start with one. Last night at dinner, Rachel just out of nowhere goes, if our kids ever study abroad, do you think we'll ever go visit them?
You got to know these.
I was like, 24 years from now?
Probably depends where.
Yeah, maybe. Rachel's like, okay, good.
Good. I'm trying to book the flights. So.
Okay, that's good.
You just got to make sure you're on the same page for everything.
Yeah, no, that's good. Don't know what you want for dinner, what you want to do tomorrow, but like, we gotta visit them.
We have to.
Promise me we'll visit them.
Please.
I wrote that down. We already talked about one-armed people. We're good there.
Great there.
No, let's talk about, should we do our s'mores real quick? I don't think it'll go too long.
Let's do s'mores.
We're going to do our s'mores of Australian slang words. And these are just ones that we've like kind of heard and picked up on since we've been here. So, Rachel, you can go first.
What is my favorite? Ooh, I don't want you to take all mine. Okay, I think my favorite Australian word is rubbish.
Dang it. I had rubbish
Yes.
first.
Yes.
I loved rubbish.
Rubbish. That's what they use for trash, garbage, throwing things away.
Good luck finding
Like
it,
it
though.
can be rubbish. Maybe you need to find a rubbish can.
A rubbish binny.
Rubbish binny.
They don't like having them out, though. It's very hard to find trash cans.
It's so hard to find trash cans. I have had to go into a Starbucks, which they only have about 2, a couple times to use their trash can to throw away a different coffee cup.
Yeah. Few and far between.
But I love the rubbish down here.
All right.
It's just a nicer word for garbage.
Garbage. Garbage is gross.
Rubbish. It's
Gar.
this is fancy what I'm throwing away.
Rubbish. Yeah, I like that. My 2 picks are going to be brekkie.
Oh, I wanted that one.
I like that they call breakfast brekkie. Like you go to the McDonald's here, which they call macas,
You want to get brekkie?
and they'll have like brekkie items. That's nice to see.
Great pick.
I like brekkie. I also like, do you remember this? I can't remember who told us this, but instead of sunglasses, they call them sunnies.
Yes, I remember that, of course.
So I'm going to go brekkie and then sunnies.
Great picks, Jake.
I definitely want to bring sunnies back to the States. I like
Yes,
sunnies.
we are bringing sunnies back. Okay, next I'm going to pick for a napkin or just like a paper towel. They call them nappies.
Nappies.
Take a nappy. Put your nappy in the rubbish.
There you go.
So I'm going to take nappy.
You're just going to form a full sentence when you're done. They all go together.
Okay, I am also going to throw my tinny in the garbage or in the rubbish.
In the garbage.
Okay, tinny is a word that we haven't used much because it means beer, but it's a much better word for beer.
And I think it might be like a can of beer.
Can of beer.
Yeah.
With a tinny.
Tinny.
Put your tinny in the rubbish.
Oh, yeah. Cricket game. Yeah, I got some tickets. They come with tinnies.
Yep.
My other 2 are going to be... Wait, you did too. I'm going to go with gutted. I like gutted. One of the old SBU women's soccer players was sending me a voice memo about coming to the show, and she was like, I'm bummed about this and that. Well, she didn't say bummed. She's like, I'm gutted. I'm gutted about it. It seemed more like visceral. It's more extreme. Like there's sad, there's bummed.
Feel it here.
But it's like, I am gutted to miss out on that. Morgan and Scott, you wanted to bring us cookies. I'm gutted we were gone. Hattie's growing up without us. I'm gutted about that. That is rubbish. And then my other one, I like that they called their version of the Australian football that they play. I like they called footy.
You're going to win.
What? I mean,
They're so good.
you think these are the good ones?
Them all better than mine.
So yeah, I really like footy. I'm kind of surprised they don't call soccer footy.
Yeah.
Because I just think that would just be shortening football.
Makes sense, yeah.
But either way, footy, great word. I like footy.
Footy, plain footy. Okay, my last one is it actually happened at one of Jake's shows. We found out about this job. the person who maybe you're working at a crosswalk at a school and you tell the cars to stop and go.
Yeah, I was doing crowd work.
Those people are called lollies because they hold that stick that says like stop and go and it looks like a lollipop. So they call them lollies.
Yeah. Every night of the show, and I think people find it kind of funny, but I'm struggling up there. I can't understand people, and when I do understand them, they're using words I don't know. It's like, what do you do for a living? What'd she say at first? She said like transportation guide or something.
Yes.
Something. I was like, what is that? And she's like, I'm a lolly. I was like, well, now we got to do this again. What is a lolly? And then she said, I'm a lollipop lady. I'm a lollipop lady. And I was like, what website do you make money off of? And she's like, no, I just like turn it from slow to stop.
Yep.
I was like, that is what you do. It's not like I work construction.
Mm-hmm.
You only turn the sign. And she was sitting in the front row.
Yep.
It pays well.
And she loved her job.
She's
happy about it.
Proud of it.
So lolly.
Fun. Okay, so what were all yours?
Lolly, tinny, rubbish, and nappy.
Nappy. I had brekkie, sunnies, gutted, and footy.
Great ones.
Good schmores.
Footy.
Well, we've been in Australia a lot. Famous Australian, Margot Robbie.
Yep.
Famous movie Margot Robbie's been in, Barbie.
Yep.
Famous Instagram clip of Rachel and Kathryn going off, Barbie thoughts. I watched it on my way here. And yeah, I finally watched Barbie. I wanted Brad and I to watch it together, but I was bored on the plane, needed to watch something. It was on the screen. So here's my Barbie thoughts. And I didn't want to look up what you said because I really don't remember much. Mm-hmm. But I remember going into it, like, everybody is so critical about this. And I don't know if we need to be so critical about this movie. Like, maybe it's supposed to be a kid's movie, and I'm not going to like try and like pick apart this movie. I'm just going to like watch it. I'm just going to watch it. And I don't know if I'm really like, I don't know if I deserve to give movie reviews. I'm kind of like Jeff Bethke. I'm like, they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
National Treasure is one of the best movies ever made. So, I mean, I like pretty much anything. But I thought the first 5 minutes were really fun. I was like, this is great.
I agree.
This is fun. This is a good time. The second 5 minutes were very confusing to me because that's when Ken tries to kiss Barbie. And so it's like, okay, so they're not dolls. They are like humans with feelings, I guess. And they have feelings of like desire and like lust, if you want to call it that. But everything that I'd been shown thus far was like, they are like almost robots. It was like their feet are stuck and they wake up at the same time every day. And so I was just generally kind of confused. I was like, I don't know where to put them in the human spectrum of like emotions. Like, I don't know if they have free will or like Ken is like trying to make moves on Barbie. She's like, I don't think so, Ken. Mm-hmm. So I was like, do they flirt here? Like, do they have relationships in Barbie world? So all good. Yeah, I'm still just like, all right, you're starting to pick it apart. Just enjoy the movie. This is a kid's movie, all right? And then pretty early on into it, I'm hearing words like they're talking about, oh, Barbie's, she's having an existential crisis. They throw out the word genitalia multiple times. Yep. They say specific words of genitalia multiple times. The president of Barbie World says MFer. And so it's like, I don't think this is a kid's movie at this point. Like, they're talking about crippling depression and stuff like this. Like, oh, these are probably pretty serious topics or whatever. And so with that in mind, I was like, another thing, because they did cast, there's like probably a 13-year-old girl who's cast in the movie, and they don't really need her for the movie. I think she's in there. My thought was like, this is for 13-year-old girls to see themselves in it. So maybe it's more for them, but yeah, the whole movie, the one thing I do remember you and Kathryn saying was like, there was no plot. There was no plot in the whole movie, which I remember hearing that. Like, how can there be no plot? Which maybe I'll have to look up the definition of a plot, but it's pretty light. There isn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
And basically it's just like, Barbies realize, hey, we need to go to the real world. Oh, we thought the real world was like Barbie world where the women were. The movie actually has some pretty funny parts. Like, when they're in the real world and they're like, hey, let's talk to some respectful people. Let's go to the construction workers. And they get catcalled. Like, that was not like Barbie world at all. There were some like pretty funny parts to it. I think Kate McKinnon was really funny.
Yeah, Barbie's great.
Yeah. Margot Robbie did a really good job.
She was a great Barbie.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else did a good job. Kate McKinnon, I guess.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he was kind of funny.
I don't get his part.
Yeah. It was interesting. I couldn't tell if he was a feminist or if he was like a misogynist.
I know. I don't know either.
All good though. Maybe I shouldn't even be trying to think
still
like
love
that. But basically, the movie, it's just like, it's kind of this anti-patriarchy, like feminists, like women got to take it back. And truly watching the movie, I was like, all right, in the end, they're going to show that like men and women should be equals. But that wasn't the message. I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh wow, it's like men are less valuable and like less worthy of like love and respect than women.
Yes.
So I was kind of surprised by that. And I think my other thought was like, you see headlines a lot about like, I'm done with Pixar, I'm done with Disney, fill in the blank. Everyone's forcing an agenda. I don't watch any of those movies. All I see is the headlines. And my response usually is like, I doubt they're forcing it. Disney had one gay character. I think it's fine kind of thing. But this was like a very on the nose. I was shocked. I was like, oh, this is very like on the nose. Like they're saying things like, well, whatever. Just like, I was surprised. I was like, maybe this is what the people are talking about. And that's fine. I don't think feminism is inherently bad. But I think when you start saying feminine people need to be like actually treated better than men. And it's like, hey, hold on. Yeah. I'm sorry about some stuff that goes on. I'm sorry about some prejudice and some things that happen. But I don't think women should have all the jobs.
Yeah, one type of human shouldn't be.
Yeah. So those are my Barbie thoughts. Like I said, I'm probably not the best to leave a review. I watched it one time on an airplane with cheap little headphones. And so, those are just my thoughts.
Good thoughts.
What do you think?
I think I had my thoughts and Kathryn's thoughts were similar. I think just the main thing of it is like, I don't know what audience they were targeting it towards. It's like they wanted it to be for all, girls. But then it was also like, talking about depression and making sexual jokes. So it's like, okay, so probably not for the little girls. And so, but then you look at like the broad plot and just like a lot of the immaturity of it, then it's like, well, maybe it was for little girls because it's sort of weird for adults to really enjoy. So it's weird. But like, I definitely would not bring anyone under the age of 16 to it.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. But they, marketed it that it was okay for those people to go. So
yeah,
that's all.
Anyway, just figured it was such a big deal when Kathryn and Rachel watched it. I finally watched it. I was like, yeah, I'll talk about that on the podcast, I guess. It's whatever. If you liked it, great. I met plenty of people who love the movie. I think that's great. I think you can look at it and not like try to take away all these things from it and still
fun
enjoy
outfits, fun colors.
And Dua Lipa's in there. Yeah, she's singing her songs. Yeah. I love a little Dua Lipa. So, yeah. It is Wednesday. Do you have a win of the week, Rachel?
Ooh, win of the week. I wish it was that I could say we were undefeated in paddle. I wish it was that.
We did lose.
However, it was when we were in like the 100-degree weather outside, no sunglasses. After we'd been playing for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was at the very end of
and I was truly exhausted.
It's a long stretch.
And I had a bruise on my knee, a rug burn on my knee. So some battle scars. But my win of the week is that I got placed for my internship, my last internship.
That's right.
Yep.
You're fully done with this one. You're fully done with that class you were in, and you've been placed.
I've been placed.
You got elementary school.
Yep.
On the horizon.
Yep.
It's going to be great.
Yep. Fun. Very excited about it.
Good job.
Yep. My coworker for helping me find it if she watches.
And one last semester of getting to work for free.
Yes, that is wonderful.
What a privilege.
Yep.
To get to do that. My win of the week is going to be Brad Ellis. He's holding down the fort at home. He's watching over us. He's taking care of our packages.
Yes, he is.
He's putting up funny Instagram stories. He's posting to jean shorts. So win of the week is that I've got a partner in crime. Ooh. I've got another muchacho back home. I'm taking care of things. I can't wait to see everybody when we get back, but really excited to podcast with Brad and Timon here in a few days and talk about stuff.
I think that's another win for us is that we've been on this like amazing vacation for so long, but we have such a good family. We have families that we love and community back home that we're so excited to get back to. Yeah. That our regular life is better.
I kind of have to convince myself that this is amazing in a way because normal life is so good and it's so fun and we have these awesome rhythms and these friends and these hangouts, but it's like, this is definitely unique. It's fun. We get to do this. I get to perform and people laugh at me in a different country. And that's awesome. And this will be the longest vacation we ever take. Sorry, we will never do another 3.5 week vacation again.
Unless we're visiting the kids on their...
Yeah, in Italy.
Yep.
But
City Broad.
but there is a little bit of like, no, this is good. This is fun. I kind of like exploring every day. Where it's like, I just want to get in my car and drive to Chick-fil-A and be back in the house in 15 minutes.
Chick-fil-A. Win of the week.
I want to drive to the indoor paddle courts we installed. And
that has a Chick-fil-A drive-thru connected to it.
Oh man, guys, just let's get a Facebook group like thread going about paddle. I would love to talk your ear off. I've been emailing people who install courts. I've been emailing people who have a business dedicated to helping other people grow their paddle business. I'm all in on paddle. Well, I'm not all in. I don't have money or time.
You're trying to be all in.
But I'm mentally I'm there. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
All right, Rachel, this is the end of podcasting for you.
Yep.
You're done. We'll get back to Timon next week. He will not be on camera. You obviously are allowed on camera. You look way different and way better than Timon. And we are a feminist podcast, so we think women should have roles in front of the camera and men should not. So any last words? Last time maybe ever on the podcast. Who knows? What do you want to say?
Mate.
Good night, mate. That was in my my honorable mentions of...
It was also in mine. So it's crikey. So it was takeaway.
Forgot about crikey. Wait, takeaway. Oh.
Instead of takeout, they call it takeaway.
Yeah. I had bloody.
Oh, Bloody's good.
You're bloody.
Bloody's good. Oh, I had Sheila.
Yeah, I had bloke.
And bloke.
Blokes and Sheilas. Which I haven't heard Sheila, but I just know from the Outback Steakhouse bathroom. Blokes are boys, Sheilas are girls.
I didn't know that.
And Steve Irwin always say, like he'd be wrestling a crocodile, like, she's a nasty Sheila.
She's a nasty she.
So maybe it was just an alligator.
Yeah.
Like I'm just calling women alligators. Hey, Sheila. And bogan, which is like their word for redneck. Bogan. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Go check out Good Ranchers, Major Roasters, Cozy Earth.
Friday Paddle.
Hey, Friday Paddles. Yeah, they've just been right here the whole time. We brought them.
Friday Pickleball Paddles.
That's right. Not FridayPaddle.com. That's something else. A whole different entity. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Be nice to Rachel in the comments.
Please.
See you later.
Ghostrunners podcast. Every Monday morning.